Well, hey, there you are, Sonia here. Welcome to Out Here on the Farm. I have a rather strange story I want to share with you. Quite an adventure, if you please. And I want to share with you an experience. It was rather strange and rather odd. In my mind, I could not even understand how I ended up where I was. I just was there. It just happened. No way of knowing the route that I took to get there. But it was an old city that no one was alive and living in that city any longer. No one was there. There was no activity. There were no cars. There were no people. There were no lights. But the buildings that were there on top of this great hill were solid and well constructed. Not a one of them was falling apart or deteriorating. The things that once built for people's activities were no longer wanted. Yet it was there waiting. It was waiting for those to come back and to get it active again, to have a thriving community. Yet that community had all vanished for some reason or the other. I found myself on those old brick roads, streets, driving around and around, with no way of finding out how to get out of there. It didn't seem to occur to me that I must be stuck in some sort of time warp. I just kept driving around. But there was this one big, tall building, old red brick building, that just kept catching my eye and attracting my attention. I don't know the times that I passed that building, but I finally decided to stop and look. I noticed that far beyond that building, there was a house or a building way out into the field, but I had no desire to go way out there. I just wanted to know why this building was so attractive to me, why I needed to see what might possibly be inside that old building. So I got out of the car and I slowly walked up. It was somewhat like cobblestone sidewalks. That's how old the city was. I walked up there and the door was standing wide open. And yet there didn't seem to be any weather damage to these buildings whatsoever. They were just old and unused, but were very able to get functioning going on in there again and restore everything, but no one desired to do so. Strange, don't you agree with me? So as I walked up there, the door was standing wide open, and I looked inside, and an odd scene was standing before me. There were rows after rows of shoes, all types, all styles, all colors, all sizes. And I stood there for the longest of time, looking at all those shoes and wondering why in the world did anyone leave these shoes out here like this? And why is this city just forsaken? And I knew somehow or the other there was a reason for me to be there. I didn't have it figured out at the time as I stood there and looked at all those shoes. Now, there were some that were old styled, but they were built solid. It looked as if you could put them right on your feet and they would fit perfectly. And as I stood there, I wondered, why in the world am I here? And why am I looking at this old building with all these shoes in them? And as I turned around and slowly walked back to my car, it suddenly dawned on me what the whole reason for my being there was for. And I walked in, got to my car and sit inside and shut the door. And I looked back at the building and I thought it's such a sadness that these buildings aren't being used anymore. The old ways are gone. The old ways are not even wanted in many areas and many people's lives, but yet it's still there. The foundation is strong. The structures are strong. And it waits. It waits for you and I to view it. It was if it was a museum, in my way of thinking. I thought this to be an old city that had been turned into some type of a museum, yet there were no human beings there. And I knew as I put my car in drive, and up atop of this hill was where this building was, a big, tall hill. Down the road was taking me on out of that city. I couldn't get out of that city before I had stopped at that building and looked at those shoes. Is that rather strange in my eyes and your eyes? Not unless you take it as a message for you or I that there are many different shoes that we could fill, many different opportunities in our life that we could have. And sometimes we wonder, did I miss my opportunity? Did I miss the shoes that I was supposed to put on? Was I supposed to wear all of these shoes? I couldn't live long enough to wear all these shoes. The one message that I got out of that is there was an opportunity for many different avenues an individual could have gone down. And yet, guess what? You're alive and you still have life. So you must have on the right shoes right now, because we're showing you what might have been was not important. What is what's vital. The life we live today, the things that we do, the skills we have, the talents that we have are important and valuable every day of our life. And as I drove down that hill, down, way down, I thought this is almost a haunting feeling to me. And I'm leaving this old city, and I wonder if I'll ever go back again. I looked back, and it was just standing there, as if it was telling me goodbye. I hope you enjoyed my story today, and I look forward to the next time. And so until next time.